Happy holidays! We hope you guys have a safe but warming holiday and that you guys are surrounded by all the love and that you guys really indulge in the food and the warmth of the people, the lights, and everything.
Eat some good food.
Eat some good food, everybody. Don't feel guilty for it.
Yes.
Hi, beautiful humans, and welcome to Grow As We Go.
Hi everyone, I'm Angie.
I'm Ashley.
I'm Fatima.
And I'm Diana. And today we have a special guest. Our dear friend, Charisma. Hi, Kari.
Hey, so I'm gonna tell you a little bit about me. So I am 21 years old. So where I go to school is Cal State Stanislaus. Y'all probably don't know where that's at, but that's okay. I'm majoring in business marketing and I am about to graduate. So that's so exciting. So some things that I like to do on my free time is, if you know me, then you know that I like going to the beach. I love being adventurous, try new things. I'm down for anything.
Literally.
And raving.
She loves EDM or raving.
Oh, yeah,
yeah. I totally forgot about that. That's my whole life. EDM. I forgot to say that.
The quarantine got you. The Q got you.
She forgot about
I know.
that.
Kari goes all out for her little costumes for the raves.
She's literally like our little rave bae.
She's so creative.
Yeah.
She's
So
so
inspiring.
creative with her outfits too.
I love fashion, getting dressed up, doing my makeup, glitter. That's the most fun thing about going to raves. It's like picking out your outfit and seeing everyone else's like creativity. It's amazing.
But thank you, Gadi, for being here. We're so excited to have you join us on our podcast. And yeah,
Our first official guest.
I know.
I'm excited to be here.
You hold the honor of our first guest.
I wanted to ask Charisma and for her to share how it was moving her whole entire life from SoCal up to NorCal, or the Central Valley, because I'm pretty sure that must have been a whole experience in itself. Or how has it been for you?
So I want to start off with the main reason that I wanted to get away from Fontana or just home is just to experience new places. I didn't want to be so close to home. I wanted, to go to a university that's kind of further, somewhere that I wouldn't have the opportunity to drive home every weekend. I didn't want that. Living 5 hours away, I knew I wouldn't be able to go home every weekend. Yeah, so I didn't come here by myself, so it wasn't as scary, but it's been fun. It's been different. Didn't know how the Central Valley was going to be. I didn't know what to expect, the people, the environment. So it was definitely a shock, if you know what I mean. I'm not going to go into it. But it's been fun, my 4 years. Definitely, I would move back home after I graduate or when I can. I would move back down to SoCal because that's my home. I love being close to my friends.
I'm gonna cry.
The beach being 1 hour away from me, Disneyland being another hour away from me. I definitely miss that, but I have created my own little life up here. I've made really close friends that I would think I would still be in contact with, when I'm an adult, when I'm more of an adult. Yeah, so if you get the opportunity to be able to live somewhere else, I would definitely recommend it. Get out of your bubble, meet new people. Chances are the new community that you're gonna live in is not the same as the one you're accustomed to. It's gonna be very different. So yeah, go for it, new opportunities.
And I feel it's also kind of cool to say I lived somewhere else for 4 years that was so far away from home, and I feel you had to grow up a lot because you're not 2 hours away from your home like I was, or 1 hour away from home like Angie was.
Yeah, when people ask me oh, where you're from, and I tell them, they're why did you move up here? Literally 90% of the people who I've met always ask me that, why did you move up here? Because people usually don't come and move up here, but I didn't know that when I was 17. 5 hours away from home.
I just think a lot of people are afraid to move away and accustomed to a new life, and that I just feel that people hold back from that, especially being so far away.
And I feel that's a good point, Fatima, you bring about that. I feel people, their number one is that they're just so scared to go out and because you're so used to living a life a certain way, and obviously going somewhere else is just such an inconvenience to you, and you don't want to like put yourself in that situation. But I feel like what you said is like really good, that like you have to put yourself in somewhere else, and it's okay to leave your bubble that you've grown your whole life, you know.
Eventually we all have to leave our bubble.
Definitely.
So we've all had the privilege to travel individually and also together, which was so awesome. And we've collected some tips and tricks for you guys that we'd like to share.
Yeah, so I had like the privilege and opportunity to study abroad, and it was literally 10 out of 10, the best experience that I could have ever done. That's like literally been the highlight of like my whole college career. And I want to let y'all know that like if you have the opportunity and privilege to do it, you should definitely do it. I know like ever since I was like growing up, like I would like always watch all these movies or like the sisterhood of like the traveling pants, and I would be like, oh my god, like they're all traveling, like that was like so like awesome and stuff. But I've always like kind of like doubted, saying like, oh, like it's so expensive, like I can't do that, I can't afford that, you know, or like I don't want to put like that burden like on my parents and like tell them that they have to like fund my whole like trip. But going into college, obviously everybody's like, oh, like traveling abroad, everybody should do it. And so I was lucky and blessed that I was surrounded with a couple of my friends who like motivated us, and we all kind of like did it because like they motivated me, we motivated each other to like apply and go through the process.
It's just so necessary.
Yeah, it's literally so, yeah, especially so like you don't want to do it like if you like, it's like you want to do it but you always need somebody to like kind of just like push you and like tell you to do it. And like I feel like just having that support from like your friends saying like, oh, I want to do it too, like is super, like literally I would not have been able to do that by myself. And I like to this day I'm so thankful that like I've had them to travel. And so I applied, and I was a little bit nervous just financially because, you know, like it's very expensive, but I was able to apply to some scholarships, and I also received a lot of financial aid.
How many scholarships did you apply for?
So I applied to like maybe like more than 10, and I only got 2. There's so many scholarships out there, and like you shouldn't expect to get all of them, but like I feel like still getting 2 is just like very good, because I mean it literally funded my whole experience. Like the whole program was around like $9,000 for a 5-week program, but with scholarships and everything I only had to pay $1,000 for 5 weeks, which is like that counts for like your room and board, your education, which is, if I would have done the classes that I did abroad in person, that would have been more expensive if I would have done them like at my school, because just I think the units, just the way that it all works out, like I literally kind of saved myself money going to Rome. Oh yeah, I also traveled to Italy, Rome. That was like my destination.
What year were you in college?
Okay, this is another thing. I did like super close, like right after my first year of college. And like
I'm assuming it was because of your community that you had, like the group of friends, and that's what like motivated you
for
more.
Sure were played a huge influence. Like, and we've talked about this before, like if I hadn't had met them, like I would have never traveled like it sucks saying it, but it's honestly the truth. Like I would have never like gone out there and put myself if it wasn't for them. And I'm pretty sure they'll say the same vice versa, you know.
Like think about it, we're like, where I've never had I don't know anybody who studied abroad, honestly, besides my cousin, but that was like when Tal was older. So like going abroad, it's so out of reach, low-key, growing up. Like I would just see it in the movies, and like you never think that like that's something attainable for you.
Exactly. Like I feel like growing up I was like, no, like I can't do that, like it's just too expensive. But like honestly, like I saved myself money, and I never thought I would say that, like studying abroad I saved myself money, but I really did. And honestly I'm really grateful that I had the opportunity to do it, and I learned a lot. It was 28 of us that studied abroad, and we all came from UC San Diego, and we had the professor from UC San Diego, so we all just kind of shifted to Rome. So it was all like our own community. Like we're all from UC San Diego.
Still like your UC San Diego program. Like
yeah, it wasn't like randoms from different colleges from different parts of the country. We all like were from UC San Diego. And so for the program, I think we had maybe like 7 dinners paid. So we each have dinners when we went to all these other places. So we had gone out to dinner throughout our whole time over there. And our last dinner, our professor, he got us all wine, and we just kind of did like a whole toast to each other to like kind of like just congratulate ourselves for like doing this 5-week-long intensive program, which with a lot of walking, a lot of excursions, a lot of sweat. It was so hot.
Imagine.
Ashley's always sweating, everybody.
And so his last toast, he said, learning occurs not by traveling the world, but by reflecting on those travels. You learn by reflecting, you know, like, yes, you can say you've been to all these locations. Yeah, I've been to yada, yada, yada. But I feel like just reflecting and like kind of taking their culture in, like everything that they have brought to the table is just very enriching. And I feel like it benefits your life in a different manner that you could have never experienced that from home.
Huge.
And that has been my biggest takeaway from studying abroad. And there's just something so magical about learning about the history of the streets that you're traveling, and you're literally walking down the streets where like you learned about this, you know. It was very motivating to say like, oh, I'm walking down the streets, oh, I know Michelangelo painted the Sistine Chapel and it took him so and so days, and like here I am looking at it.
That's so awesome.
And I feel like that was just like my biggest takeaway, and I'm just so thankful that I had the privilege and opportunity, and I was able to do it financially. So I just want to advocate, like, if you have the opportunity, or if you may think that you don't have the opportunity, like, I think just apply yourself and like apply to scholarships. Like, there's so much money that goes unused, and you can literally just apply to so many scholarships. You can apply, and like, you're just gonna get free money, and
it's possible.
Who doesn't love traveling for free, you know?
I think even just if you have the slight curiosity, whether or not something that you're even sure that you want to do, but if you know that your school is putting on a study abroad fair, take a walk around, even if it's in between classes, like take a pamphlet for your college, like, and see what kind of programs your college offers you, because you will truly be amazed about the opportunities and the financial help and just so much that you can gain from that your school already offers you. So it's not that you have to go looking externally,
like you can use
through other
resources.
programs. Exactly. These resources are there for you. So definitely take advantage of them if you are able.
Yeah, if you have the curiosity to do something, I say go for it, because it's going to be in you. You're going to regret it. So if you have the opportunity to do it, just go for it. Just do it.
Literally.
Make that minor sacrifices.
Yeah, I remember going to like a panel like when I did the summer program before I started school, and somebody said like, what's your biggest regret of your undergrad years? And somebody said, I wish I would have studied abroad. And that kind of like stood with me. I was like, I don't want that to be me, and I want to make sure that I took everything, like I did that. And I'm just thankful that I can say like I took advantage of that privilege.
That senior who said like, I wish I would have studied abroad. Like, even though I didn't get the opportunity to study abroad, and I tried to study abroad, but by the time that I was looking into opportunities, COVID had hit, so that didn't work out. But I was fortunate enough to go to Europe with Fatima and another friend, and it was honestly a really fun time. But I think that going into when Ashley was explaining like her why, I really love what you said, and I think it's so important to understand that it's so much more than just going and seeing a place. It's so much deeper than that. It's understanding the history and understanding the culture and the people who live there. And honestly, traveling just really broadens the mind and makes like the problems back home seem so little and so insignificant. And it just makes you realize like that the world is just so big, so incredibly big, and there's just so much to discover. And that's one thing that I really, really love about traveling.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people out there don't have the opportunity to travel outside of the US. Even if it's just a different state or anything, it's actually kind of therapeutic to even travel, 100%. Even by yourself. I mean, I would recommend to go with somebody just because, you know, something you don't know.
Safety.
People are weird, you know. But it's therapeutic because you get to get your minds off things. You get to explore and learn about other places, you know, not just where you are at all the time.
Even just like a weekend trip to like the beach or to like the forest or something.
Like I had actually gone to a solo trip to San Diego. I just really had the urge to go to a hotel. It was by the beach, and it was just so fulfilling, so like just going by yourself, and that actually inspired Angie to do the same. And I'm sure you enjoyed yourself as well, right?
Yeah, 100%. I think traveling solo or just going places solo is super important, especially new places, because not only you discover new things about the environment that you're in, but also new things about yourself. But I mean, that's a whole topic in itself. But Gotti, do you want to talk about like your travel experience or where you've been?
So I have traveled. So within the US, I've been to Orlando, Florida, and then Chicago. And out of the US, I've been to Costa Rica with Angie and Diana. And then I've also been to Paris.
What were like your biggest takeaways from like those trips, or like a trip that like really like stood out to you?
So when I went on the Costa Rica trip, I learned so much about their culture, and I didn't think I was going to learn as much as I did. I specifically remember the pineapple tour. I am not a fan of pineapples, but Angie
You still
and
hauled her
Diana,
along.
they were like, just come with us. We don't want you to be alone. So I was like, okay, I'll go for the experience. I'll take this opportunity to learn about pineapples. And me personally, I don't like pineapples. So that's the reason why I didn't want to do it. But I ended up learning so much. I will never like think of anything else when I see a pineapple again,
Aw.
I'll just think of that tour because how like the farmers,
Mm-hmm.
they grow their pineapples there and then they export them. It was just like a whole learning experience.
What was so awesome about that pineapple tour was like seeing how, at least for me, what stood out was like seeing how one little farm, one pineapple farm with like one farmer and a couple of his helpers, like ship out thousands of pineapples.
Wow.
That was just mind boggling to me. It was like just realizing how much these
The
countries, especially
process.
Costa Rica, like supplies fruit for us, especially
Mm-hmm.
pineapples.
I think on that trip for me, what really stood out was when we went to that one forest, that rainforest. Oh my God, it's so beautiful. And for me, I just felt so like in touch with
Nature.
myself, with
Nature.
nature. It was
100%.
so amazing. And I remember there's a moment where I just walked and like I was wandering off alone, and I just remember indulging in like the present moment, and that present moment really made the whole experience worthwhile. Like I think for me in that trip, I went with the intention of being present as much as I can and really taking in everything. And I think because I have that intention, I think that it's been the best experience of my whole entire existence because of
Ooh.
that. So I advocate that if you go somewhere, that you really make it a point to be present and a point to look at the small things, to talk to the
Yeah.
people, to just really immerse yourself in the culture and learn all you can. And just those points just really makes your experience somewhere else like 10 times better. I highly recommend to do that.
I think it's so important, and I love that you just touched based on it right now, like to travel mindfully, being appreciative of like the people who occupy that space, like the culture, the people who live there, and not going somewhere expecting to like take
Being-
like let
and
me
like
take this.
selfish.
Yeah, like let me see what I can
Yeah.
gain from this. Like I think, and this applies all around, but like in any situation,
Yeah.
but especially with traveling, if you're going to a new place, and you're obviously gonna learn a lot, and that's what you're taking. But the least you can do is to be respectful and be mindful and give it your whole entire attention, because one, it'll benefit you, but it'll also lead to you to appreciate the culture and the place that you're in, like
Yeah.
the space
I
that
think
you're
it has to do with like being selfless and not selfish. And I think
Yeah.
that's like the perfect statement to say
Yeah.
selfless, honestly. I just realized that right
Yeah.
now.
Like you're not going there just to take some, yes, your Instagram pictures are gonna look good and stuff, but like I feel like you should go there with more and just
Yeah.
kind of like indulge yourself in their
Yeah.
culture and always say yes.
If the
Speaking
locals
about
ask you to
yes.
try something, say yes.
Yes.
Try
Try out the
obviously, if it's
street
us,
food.
if he says
I
go to
meant,
this
like-
corner, don't do that. But you know,
Always, always say yes to opportunities that you think would be
Yeah.
enriching, because it's all about like I would advocate and I would argue that traveling is one of the biggest growing experiences that you can obtain. Like
100%.
you grow so much from traveling. Like I definitely like came back a different person. Number one, you're more aware of your surroundings. Number two, you have this whole new set of knowledge that you would have never experienced from your home. That's why I'm also thankful for studying abroad, because like I feel like if I were to just gone there as a tourist, like just booked a trip by myself, I would have never been exposed to all of this information and all of this knowledge that I had tour guides, and we had like all of these walks that were very informational. And like you like don't be so naive and say like, oh, I can do it all by myself, because like I
Yeah.
feel like having those
Stubborn.
tour guides and having somebody to guide you and like tell you all this rich history about where you're standing at, and I feel like that's super helpful.
Even like traveling in California, Gadi, she lives in North Cal, and I'm sure it's like completely different, and you've experienced and discovered other things, right?
Yeah, so I'm actually in the Central Valley. That's what they call it here.
She's in the center.
But San Francisco is like an hour and a half away from me, so that's like an easy, drive. And it's so beautiful over there. Yosemite is like an hour and a half to 2 hours away
Oh,
from
so
me,
jealous.
I've been there once, but it's like so beautiful. Even that would be like such an amazing trip. Tahoe, I've had the opportunity to go twice, one in the summer and one when it was snowing, and it was just so beautiful. I've also had the opportunity to drive 5 hours north, which is really considered Northern California, to
Oh,
Bernie Falls. It's so
Oh
beautiful.
my god.
If you've never seen a waterfall in California, you should go visit that waterfall. It's
I want to go.
beautiful. Yeah, so even if you don't have the opportunity to travel out of the state, driving up to California is it could be really easy if you plan like a whole weekend out with like your friends. It will be really fun just to explore out of your community, your city, even Southern California.
and think about it, like you go one direction, it's the desert. Like another direction, it's the forest. Another direction, it's the
It's the
mountains. Like we have
beach.
everything here in California.
Yeah.
Like what you said, it's a blessing to live in California because of that.
Angie mentioned earlier that you went to Europe. How was that experience for you?
We found this program called Kentucky through one of my friend's cousins that I guess like her coworkers like raved about it. So I told Fatima. So we basically were like scrolling on Kentucky. It's a company based in Australia that we didn't know prior. We thought it was like an American thing, but it was honestly ended up coming out perfect. It was awesome because we got to meet so many different people. So they had a lot of different locations in Europe. Different durations, like different paces. Like some of them were very fast-paced trips. Like in a week, you go to like 10 countries, and they had like some over the span of 2 weeks, fewer countries, longer stays. So we ended up choosing one called the Mediterranean Escape, something along that sorts, and it basically covered Spain, France, and Italy. Like the main cities in but not in France. We didn't go to like Paris. We did like the outskirts of France. We
the
did like
Mediterranean
Nice.
Sea.
Yeah, we did like along the Mediterranean Sea, and it was beautiful. Probably one of the best experiences of my life, hands down.
Yeah, so I was super excited to go. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm traveling to the airport without my parents. I'm going to get lost. But it ended up going perfect, you know? It's just that one thing. That one thing.
So one of my biggest tips, and please learn from us, is that if you decide to travel, please get travel's insurance. Like it's if it's only like $50.
Really?
Yes, because so basically mine and Fatima's and our friend Victoria's our flight got delayed in where were we?
New Jersey.
Yeah,
New Jersey,
I remember
and
that.
we missed the entire first day of our trip in Spain, in Madrid. And I remember like we weren't even sure like if it was just such a hassle because we weren't sure when we would get put on the next flight, if we had to play extra. Like there were just so many unknown factors, so that travel's insurance would just protect you in so many different ways. And I remember us like thinking like, oh my god, like if we couldn't have gotten this flight, or what if they didn't have a flight sooner, like we probably would have had to pay out of pocket. So travel insurance, I feel like, is very important.
We spent thousands of dollars and tons of energy getting prepared since March all the way through July to preparing for this trip, and for it to get delayed 24 hours and not knowing what the outcome was going to be after that. Like, yeah, of course I was going to break down.
We were crying because we didn't even know, like, if it was going to be 24 hours, if it was going to be a week. We did not know. Like, we had no answers. Yeah. And we were just young and dramatic, so we were just like,
I mean, no, I feel like that's like it's your first time going out of the country. Maybe it's your first time going out of the country or going to Europe, and you're so like, this has been such an anticipated trip, and for something like that too. Yeah. And for something for that just to like, I feel like I would have cried too. Or like and you know, like when you're traveling, everybody has like that stress, like you're about to board a plane, you're gonna be in there for 13 hours, like you don't know. I feel like
in the beginning it was definitely stressful in the beginning, but then we're just, you know what, this thing's happened for a reason. We can explore New York the next morning or something. So we just went to our hotel, calmed down. We went to New York, ate something, explored a little bit, and then we went off to Madrid. It was crazy.
What was the highlight of that trip for you, Fatih?
Having to meet other people from different country is probably the highlight of this trip, definitely. And I definitely encourage, I think because we were so young at that time, I think it was more safe for us to travel with the group. And I definitely do not regret traveling with the group. Probably the second time I go to Europe, I'm probably not going to go with the group, but I think because everywhere we would go, they would be so aware of we would be aware of our surroundings. We would take care of each other, and they were super friendly. I learned so much from this trip, not only historically, but also from the people in my group, you know, just having.
And I feel like you learn about yourself too, because like you
Exactly.
see like how you act under pressure, like a new different environment.
So
Oh my god, pickpocketing is real.
Oh, so
Pickpocketing
real.
in Europe is probably the scary. Oh, we always had our purse in the front of our bodies,
Always.
like hugging it.
Crossed.
So once we were going into the metro, we noticed there was another man. I think he was traveling too, because it's kind of seeing he had a map on his backpack. He had a backpack on, and we see some people grab things from his backpack, and a guy caught the lady, and you just see her freak out with her 2 kids, and like she just throws everything inside the metro, and we're just like,
launches it.
Yeah, did we just
But then
witness pickpocketing? Like, oh my goodness! And I think, didn't they try grabbing you?
Yeah,
or Victoria?
I remember her kind of. I just remember like, because when you're rushing onto the subway, like everybody just kind of rushing at the same time.
So much people, like you're literally jam packed in like a
Yeah.
little like. There's so many people.
So when someone was tugging on me and like on my stuff, I didn't recognize in the moment that they were tugging on me to try to take my purse or try to open it, and then and I remember just kind of like me like not shoving but like moving away.
You're like, damn, is my bag all stuck on something?
Yeah, I thought my bag was stuck. You know, I'm out here like, oh, I'm sorry. Like, then I realized, and it didn't click into me after that lady like took the things. Like, holy shit, that was the lady that I thought I had my bag in her way. Like, she was trying to snatch my bag.
Dude, there was this one experience. Since we were in Italy, we had planned out to do weekend trips. So we had it planned like with the students. We did like maybe 10 of us went to Pompeii, and so we were gonna get on the train to go all the way up to Pompeii, and we were just about like we're literally gonna get inside the train, and one of my friends, she was struggling to get inside because like there's people coming out and in at the same time, so it's like there's like that clash. And then next thing you know, she's like, where's my wallet, and her backpack, the zipper was like stole, like open, and her wallet, like she had just lost her whole wallet and her phone and everything. And I was like, and this was like at the beginning of our trip, so everybody was just like, that really just happened.
It sucks when you're having such a blissful trip and then something real just smacks you in the face. Like, okay, I need to get out of this la la land and like be aware of my my surroundings and be present and just because shit like that.
It can happen to anybody.
Yeah, so when I went to Paris the second day that we got there, we went to go see the Eiffel Tower, and we were just waiting around like on the outskirts of it, waiting for our other family to come and join us. And just like around, you know, where people are waiting and taking pictures, there are like these people with like clipboards, and they're just going up to people saying like, oh, can you help me, give me signatures. And there would be like women, men, I don't remember if I saw kids, but definitely women more than men. And they were just asking for signatures for some charity, I don't know. And then me being the person I am, I just ignore them. But my mom, being the person that she is, she like gives them the attention. Like she gives them the attention. I'm like, no, like don't listen to them. And then luckily, like there's these nice people that came up to us saying like, no, don't like give them signatures. Like while you're not looking, or while you're giving them your signature, they'll go into your bag and like take stuff. Like they'll just like snatch stuff. So we were like,
no.
Yeah, so I told my mom like, see, like don't trust people out here.
Anywhere.
But yeah, there was more women than men doing it, so trust none.
Just don't get us wrong. Aware. It was very nice going. A lot of nice people everywhere. There's a good and a bad, but there was just a lot of pickpocketing in Europe.
Yeah. Speaking about Paris, there's always been a misconception, I think, that people, they're rude over there. But when I went, it was actually not that at all, and people were actually very nice. But I think it's because over there their customs are different, and to us it may seem like they're rude. But I think giving the benefit of the doubt to people when you're in other countries, and empathizing in that way and understanding that their way isn't like over here, and adapting to that and how they live, I think is very vital, because you can come out of it like you can perceive them as being rude and then like mess up your whole experience just because you're stubborn and you don't want to like let go of your ego and just really empathize with the people there and their culture and immerse yourself.
Because I feel like if you're experiencing a new culture, if you're used to like coming from America and you're going to like Paris, it's like obviously there's different styles of life, and so like they may be acting completely fine to like what they're doing, but you're over here like, damn, like they're really rude, like but like I don't think it should be something that we should
judge them for,
offense for, or anything,
or like create that stereotype for them, because that's just them living their own life.
Exactly. That's why I think it's so important before, and this is like one of my little tips, is to research the culture, research the mannerisms, like research basic language, especially if there's a language difference, like research how to say hello, bye, thank you, please, like manner, like anything with manners, please figure out how to say that in that language, bathroom, like basic things. But I think it's so important what you said, Diana, because it's so important that when you're traveling somewhere else to understand that you need to adapt to their culture.
Exactly.
And you need to be able to get into their culture and not expect anybody to adapt to you, because you are in their space. So you need to remember that and acknowledge that and adapt. Like,
honestly, I feel like that has to do with an ego thing. Honestly, that's like the main 100%. Cause of that. Like, you have to let go of your ego and just, like you said, you have to adapt to them.
I think just being what you're trying to get is like being aware and
being mindful. Like how you said earlier, Angie, you should be always mindful when you travel somewhere. And I think you should always, when you're traveling, I think you should always travel with an open mind and with good intentions, because you can't expect for everybody to adapt to you, you know what I mean? Even in wherever you are, you can't expect anyone to adapt to you. If I go to your house, I can't expect all of you to adapt to me, I have to respect your house rules.
Going back to like adapting or being mindful of, the place that you're visiting. Like I remember when I was planning my outfits for Paris, I wanted to buy like a red beret, to look cute, but I thought to myself, like, is this wrong of me to wear a red beret even though I'm not French? So I kept that in mind, there's little things like that can maybe upset their
like cultural appropriation,
their culture, but ended up being fine. Like literally every little stand on the corner sells little berets, and they actually, it's not a big deal at all, but
it's like you're embracing their culture.
It's just,
but I like how you thought that before. Okay, so I think we should like give our top places that we visited that we would recommend someone else to go to. So what would you say, Ashley?
Okay, so I obviously, this is another tip, super off topic, but I feel like once you're in Europe, you should take advantage of all the time and travel to different places, because that is the cheapest thing that you can do.
And everything's so close.
Exactly. So it's literally a plane ticket is literally like $60. And I for sure took advantage of that. But a place that I really, really, really enjoy and I would definitely 100% go back is Mykonos, Greece. Mykonos is just very... I just had the best time of my life. Like, their nightlife is also really fun and awesome. And then their little, like, their towns and just... There's just a lot of, like, relaxation and stuff. And I think that was, like, the highlight of my whole studying abroad trip. But obviously, like, Rome is just amazing itself. Like, living there for 5 weeks, I truly felt like I was able to immerse myself in their culture and kind of just appreciate the little things. And I really, 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 really enjoyed that. And if I had the opportunity to study abroad, I would completely do it again. But Mykonos was like the best.
What about you, Kari?
So one place I would recommend you visiting if you have the opportunity is Costa Rica. It's very inexpensive once you're there. It's a beautiful place. You could go hiking up in the mountains, in the clouds, or you can even go to the coast and go to the beach.
And relax.
It's so beautiful. If you love nature, Costa Rica is a place to be. Or if you're just trying to travel within California, I would definitely say travel to Yosemite. It's super close, and if you're an adventurous person, there's lots to do there. You could go in the winter, in the summer, you could go hiking. It's so beautiful. I would recommend it.
What about you, Fati?
Oh, well, after I traveled Europe, I would definitely go back again, any place over there. But I didn't mention that I traveled here, but I would definitely recommend going to Chiapas, Mexico, or Oaxaca. It's probably the one of the states that have the nicest people ever. Literally, everybody has the good intentions to help you. They will do anything to help you around if you were lost. I did a couple of tours, and all of them were just hiking. And if you love nature, oh my god, that's the place to be. I literally went hiking up to go see like waterfalls, and
I remember you showing us some alligators or something.
Yeah,
right? Or we were in a boat.
Yeah, we were on a boat, and we went through the. It's a river that's connected with Guatemala. So that river, that river took you all the way to Guatemala, and that boat ride was the most relaxing, most amazing boat ride ever. And I even went down a zip liner on top of a river. It was just so amazing. It's just so fresh. It was just the best place I've ever been. I hands down.
What about you, Angie?
I think I would also agree with Gutty. I think as I really loved Europe, but something about Costa Rica, I think for the time when I went, and I wish I can go back in time, and I really wish I could have took it in a lot more than I did. But thinking back now, I really appreciated Costa Rica and the nature of it, how like it just felt like the world was just so still in moments. Costa Rica was just beautiful.
I think for me, Hawaii is like
immaculate. To go to Hawaii.
Incredible. If you
so
have the
bad.
chance, please go.
Yeah.
But also, I would say Costa Rica as well. If you have the opportunity, you should definitely go. Especially the people there, the food there, like the history that happens there. It's just amazing. And I think I'm very biased because I love nature, and that's So I think this is the perfect time to transition into our little segment, Discover Her. And we'll be talking about what we learned through our traveling experiences.
I think what I took away from this conversation and from our experiences is the key is to be open-minded and to go into these spaces mindfully and respectfully, and always remember to, like what we talked about, the ego thing is not always to take, but always give, and you giving your full attention, your full respect, and an open mind, it will pay off and it will grant you a really great experience.
What I took away from this was that if you are curious, go for it. You know, if you have the opportunity, if you have the resources, go for it and apply yourself. You have nothing to lose, maybe time from just applying, but that will totally pay off because all of the advantage that you'll gain, the experience you'll gain, all the knowledge that you'll gain. And I really want to advocate, if you want to, try it out, and you know don't let fear take over you, and don't let the fear of the unknown stop you from expanding your mind and discovering more.
I feel like my biggest takeaway that I want for our listeners to get out of this is, like, if you have the opportunity to study abroad, do it. Put yourself out there. Like, there's ways that you can fund for money. Like, there's so many scholarships out there. There's so many opportunities for you to take advantage of, and you should definitely do it. And I feel like it kind of goes with, like, the whole theme of this podcast is called Grow As You Go. And as I said before, like, you grow so much as an individual, and you're definitely, you learn a lot along the way. And I feel like, why not put yourself in a place where you know that you're going to grow? Embrace people's culture. And lastly, do a lot of reflection after you've traveled. Reflect on your times, reflect on your experiences, reflect on your conversations with the people from those towns and cities. And also, you don't have to go to Europe, you don't have to go to other parts of the world. Travel within your state, travel even within your own community. Like, there's just so many experiences, and I feel like traveling doesn't necessarily have to be traveling abroad. Like, you can travel within your own. Yeah.
So I definitely agree with a lot of what you all said. I think something very important to look into is to do your research before going to a place, just to be aware of what you're getting yourself into.
So what I've learned from our conversation is definitely just do it. We might have like opportunities here and there, but honestly, just do it.
Do it.
Like, you might be taking time off work or off important stuff that's in like your daily schedule, but if like you definitely take like a trip that you've been wanting to take, and you know that you will will love the experience. Just do it because you will get that time back. You will cherish it when you're reflecting on your experiences. It's definitely worth it.
Yeah. Life is too short not to be adventurous, everybody.
There's so much to see in the world, even if it's in your own state, abroad, anywhere, like your community. There's always an opportunity to learn and discover more. So
get out there.
Yeah.
Yes, get out there. Thank you, Kari, for joining us and taking the time out of your day.
Thank you, Kari.
We
so
loved
excited.
having you here. This was our first guest. And we will have many more.
Here with you guys. Thank you for having me. It was fun. And I miss you guys.
We miss you too.
Alrighty, thanks for joining us, everyone. For more content, head over to our IG, Grow As We Go podcast. We hope all y'all enjoyed your dose of growth for today. And remember to always strive for growth.
And we'll see you next Tuesday.
At 7 a.m.
At 7 a.m.
Pacific Standard Time.
Yeah. Hasta la vista, baby.